Welcome to Terrific Talk. My name is Tom Anderson. Tom Anderson.
Back to win the game. Gone. Back, gone. Tom
Anderson.
Great cash, homie.
I feel ready to go another 9 innings.
Touchdown.
I feel ready to go another 9 innings.
Touchdown.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Sound going crazy.
Terrific Talk Podcast. Welcome back, Terrific Talk Podcast.
Here comes the hose.
I'm your host, Tom Anderson.
First, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you for checking out Terrific Talk, this post-Halloween episode. And here we are in the first week of November. Hopefully my dogs do not kill any trick-or-treaters. This Terrific Talk episode, this is the first episode we've done since Daylight Savings. Taping this around 5:30 here on the East Coast on Monday, and it is pitch black outside and cold. So, I was complaining before about the weather. Now I'm really getting into even more depressed times. So what better idea than to call our boy Steve in California, where I'm sure it's mid-afternoon, sunny, and 80 degrees. Let's call Steve up. Here we go.
Terrific.
There he is. What's up, dude?
Nothing much, man. I'm a little nervous for tonight because you just have utter bragging rights over me right now with how abysmal the Sixers played yesterday in Brooklyn.
What happened? I missed that one.
Man, we had a season, an NBA season high, 27 turnovers.
Is that bad?
If you want to win a game, it's not an ideal stat line to have. And your boy Joe Harris, man, the portion of the game that I did watch, that dude, I don't think missed a three.
He's on fire.
Does he miss?
No, not often, actually. He's one of our better shooters. The Nets just came at you. You didn't know.
Oh, dude.
You're making
Spider
fun.
monkey.
It's such payback for what happened last year. We were both at the Nets-Sixers game with Barkley's last year, and the Sixers killed him. The crowds were chanting Eagle chants. You know what chants I heard at yesterday's game when Markelle Fultz was shooting foul shots?
Oh, my dear Lord.
Jason Tatum. Amazing. The Nets fans showed up last night. I was impressed. It was incredible.
I will say, while I hate it, I have to respect it. Yeah, Markelle, man, that was one of the scariest three-point attempts I've ever seen, right?
What is he doing? What's going on? I thought he, fixed this.
I thought he did too, the yips. His shot coach actually tweeted, I guess responded to a tweet from someone, or maybe someone shared that video on Instagram and added it, and added him, and he basically came out and said that Markelle still isn't healthy, which that's the first time I'm hearing that in this part of the season. So who knows? It was one of those where the tweet got posted by Drew Hanlon, who I guess a lot of guys work with in the off season just to kind of refine their game, and he listed out 4 things. One being, hate on me all you want, but don't hate on players. That's not professional. 2, you don't know his situation. He's still not healthy. 3, he went from 0% to 31% from 3, and from 48% to 67% from the free throw line progress. 4, his 3-point percentage is higher than your man Crush Cuz. I don't know who that is, but maybe that's Kyle Kuzma. So yeah, that number, that second bullet there, he's still not healthy. That tweet quickly disappeared. So,
whoops.
I don't know if that was a slip of the tongue or.
I think it sounds like he's trying to defend himself. That he's supposed to be the shot coach, and his player's going out there throwing up bricks. Oh yeah, he's hurt. It's not me.
It wasn't even a brick, dude. It hit the padding of the underside of the backboard. What was that? I could close my eyes and probably have a better shot than that.
Unreal.
At the rim, right? It is one of those things that, we could be going back in 5 years or so. We could be going back to that 2017 draft when we made that move up to get him, and because I think the move was we went up to get him, right, and then you hear the chatter that the Celtics didn't want Fultz. Tatum was their guy anyway,
right, the whole time.
So we gave up a pick to go up to 1 to get a guy that could have been there at 3 because everyone knows the Lakers were taking Lonzo. It's now again I've maybe said this before. If we went up there and we then snatched Tatum, like that would have been the ultimate just FU move. But looking like the Celtics just totally pulled the freaking hood over our eyes on that one.
A little bit. That might be our first documentary that we do. Draft.
Yeah.
So
After the fact,
exactly.
2017.
Maybe to cheer you up.
Live in infamy.
Maybe to cheer you up. In the intro here, I mentioned daylight savings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 6:00 ish, and it is pitch black out here, and it's cold. What are you looking at right now?
I'm looking at the sun still up. It will set a little sooner. So last night it was dark by about 6, but it was 77 degrees today. So
Jesus,
sunny all day. It's not something I'm ever probably going to get sick of. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people are like, oh, well, you'll want the season. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the seasonality of the Mid-Atlantic. It's where I grew up. I love the snow. But there's something about being able to go out for a run in shorts and a T-shirt or a singlet, what appears to potentially be year-round, that's very enticing.
What was that, a singlet? What is that?
Yeah, that's just like it's like a tank top. Runners would call it singlets or vests, but it's just like a tank top.
Look at you, singlet.
I know,
wow.
I'm a singlet.
We need
You
to get
used to wear singlets back in the day. You just didn't even know they were called singlets.
That's probably true. So I went to the gym today. You've been here, Planet Fitness in Hoboken, right?
Love the Washington Street.
Yep, wearing my singlet, looking good.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanna hear your take on this. I've always wanted this because this is gonna be good. So it's the first Monday of the month at Planet Fitness.
I know it goes down on the first Monday of the month.
So what they do is they bring out pizza. So you go work out and then you leave and they give you pizza. You can eat the pizza.
Free.
For free. Just go ahead, take the pizza. What do you think about that?
It's kind of, it depends on your workout, okay? For guys, a little bit it seems counterintuitive. Now, if you're hitting some cardio, you're hitting some weights, and you're kind of working up a good sweat, you're getting the heart rate up, I respect it. You deserve to reward yourself. But I've also been in that Planet Fitness, and I've seen I've seen the people sitting on the recumbent bike. So not even on the what's it called, the trainer bike, where you're fully seated up top, or the spin bikes. I'm saying the ones where you're literally just sitting, lounging
Chilling
backwards and just cycling. And I've seen those people there. They're sitting on their phone. They're just kind of spinning the wheels at a very leisurely pace. And those guys that then go down there and stuff themselves with 3-4 slices of pizza, and they wonder why they're not losing weight. It's quite simple. The goal of a workout is to elevate your heart rate, to go really nerdy on you. I mean, you don't hit the fat burning stages until you get into the aerobic or, more those aerobic thresholds, even up into those anaerobic thresholds where, for most people, the heart rate zone that you need to get to there is, above 140. And most people, I would venture to guess, do not test those limits. But I don't want to rag on people.
I love this. I knew you would be that guy. I had to ask. I knew you would be that guy. I am definitely the guy taking like 4 slices. I stack them up one by one, so it looks like I'm only taking one, and I get in and out, and it's the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah, you're getting free dinner for the night. I respect the move. Again, my take is I get to the gym. If I go to the gym, I'm lift. If I lift, quote unquote lift, I can't really quantify it as lifting because I just kind of have a little superset cycle that I go through. But more likely than not, I'm jumping on the treadmill, doing a couple miles, sweating like a machine, and at that point, yeah, I'm gonna indulge myself in some pizza.
So you've taken the pizza before?
Yeah, actually, so I've never taken the pizza from the Hoboken spot. I've only ever taken the pizza from the location it's in Manhattan on 55th and 9th Street, somewhere in that vicinity, because Mondays I used to always shoot it to the city, visit some accounts. I have the Planet Fitness Black Card, so I can go to any Planet Fitness around the country.
Name drop.
So name drop, no big deal. So I'd go in there and I would bring it. Well, Erin could run from her school, but on nights when there was pizza night, she would just come with me because you have the Black Card. You can bring a guest anytime you want.
Oh my god!
No big deal.
Drop that down quick.
Yeah, MVD. So we would then go for a run in Central Park, come back, grab some pizza, roll back home to Hoboken, and that would be our night. But when you're in the city getting free pizza, it's never a bad thing.
Most slices that you've ever taken in one trip?
I think in the 3 to 4 range.
Whoa!
Yeah, dude, come on. It was I actually think that we ended up doing a longish run that night. We went for like a 12-mile run in the park, so I was ravenous. I just needed to. I needed to eat. I think I had 2 slices, and then took two more for the walk to the Port Authority to get the bus home. So.
All right, Steve, I want to take a quick break to talk about The Athletic. I know you are a huge fan of The Athletic. You're always talking about how amazing their articles and writing is. I just read an awesome piece by Ken Rosenthal, a friend of this podcast. Just wrote a great baseball piece on Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, kind of the shifting dynamics of the market heading into this offseason. Go check that out. It's a really, really smart piece. But for those of you who don't know, The Athletic is a subscription-based publisher of smarter sports coverage for diehard fans. The model is simple. No ads, no pop-ups, and no autoplay videos. Instead, readers get to subscribe for authentic, in-depth coverage written by journalists who know their teams inside and out. There are some incredible writers at The Athletic right now. I've been trying to get a bunch of them on my podcast here, Terrific Talk, to kind of get some advice, how they've kind of gotten to where they are, talk about their career stories. You got writers like Jason Stark, Frank Isola, Sam Amick, Zach Harper, Lindsey Jones, Mike Lombardi, Jay Glazer. Jay Glazer is a huge pickup for The Athletic. He's incredible. The cool thing about The Athletic is the coverage goes beyond game recaps and trade speculation. They provide really smart analysis, and they take a deeper perspective about teams, leagues. Subscribers have access to local and national content with more than 650 to 700 news stories published every week across all sports. And I've got a crazy deal for you guys today. All you got to do is go to theathletic.com/terrifictalk. That is the promo code. And with this deal, you get 40% off. That's $2.99 a month. This is an amazing deal. Go check that out right now. theathletic.com/terrifictalk. You'll get a whole lot of great content. So go check it out, theathletic.com/terrifictalk. TV time. I gotta tell you, I jumped into a new show. Tori and I started watching on Netflix. Have you heard of this? Medici?
I have not heard of Medici.
Interesting show. So it's got Dustin Hoffman.
Ooh, I like him.
And Rob Stark from Game of Thrones. Remember Rob Stark?
Love Rob Stark. He's in another one, I think, on Netflix. I've seen. I haven't watched it, but at least it's popped up in my recommended watches, like The Bodyguard or something.
Yeah. I saw a preview for that too.
Go ahead.
So we've got Dustin Hoffman, who's basically like an older, pissed off, like kind of a dick father who's also like super religious. It's set in Florence in the 1400s. And then you've got Rob Stark, who's Dustin Hoffman's son, and he's also got a brother. So you got a little sibling rivalry. And then Rob Stark wants to be like an artist, but his dad, Dustin Hoffman, wants him to be a banker. So you got that pulling, and then you got some love story going on, and you got some violence. I don't know if Dustin Hoffman makes it. You got to watch. And I'm kind of into it. I don't think Tori's completely sold on it. We've watched a couple episodes. I'm in on Medici.
You're in on Medici and you're in on Rob Stark, a.k.a. Richard Madden, actually, who is playing that role.
No, he's crazy. He's Rob Stark in the show. It's unbelievable.
He's he's resurrected. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, that's actually intriguing because right now me and Aaron don't have anything that's binge worthy that we're watching together. I mean, we're watching what's it called? American Horror Story, but that's like coming out once a week, so we just have to kind of go one at a time, 1 week at a time. We're watching The Good Doctor. I talked about reference to Good Doctor earlier. We've got The Walking Dead back.
Is that show any good? Walking Dead?
Yeah, it's good, and we're so deep in that we just now can't. I can't.
Yeah, you're committed.
Not watch. I mean, we're season 8 or 9 or whatever it's up to now. But it's pretty. It is pretty good, and that's one of those literally where we've watched like week in, week out. I mean, like there's sometimes where we miss a week, so we'll have 2 to watch, but it's never been like a Netflix binge where we've watched an entire season in a weekend. So I actually jumped into an ABC show that's on Netflix. So I think it's up to maybe season 3 right now, but I'm working through season 1, Designated Survivor. More just because, another Kiefer, man, Jack Bauer. Another guy, speaking of Rob Stark, another guy that everyone just knows Kiefer Sutherland as Jack Bauer.
Always.
So yeah, I just had to, that's one of my family's all-time favorite shows, 24. So just out of respect for him, I had to dive into that one. So it's pretty good. Did you give that one a shot, or because you're a 24 guy, right?
Oh my God, am I a 24 guy?
Yeah,
I was obsessed with 24. I used to do like my own home videos where I was like Jack Bauer, and then my friend George was like David Palmer, greatest president we ever had, and we had a lot of good movies. So yeah, I'm all on board. I actually always, when that first came out, I was like, oh, I gotta watch this show. Like I gotta see what Kiefer's up to, but I never jumped in. So you can let me know if it's any good.
Yeah, it's worth it. I came back from New York on Saturday and was a little thrown off from the jet lag, and we had daylight savings time as well, so it was kind of like I was ready to go to bed when I got back here at 8 o'clock, but I knew I was like, all right, you got to just at least stay up until 11. So I watched a couple episodes then, watched some after football last night, so it's pretty good. I think you'd enjoy it.
I'll check it out. Did you check out Making a Murderer?
No, we haven't started yet, because that's something that me and Aaron watched together, and so I guess there is that. That is a binge-worthy show that we have to get on, but we've just been, travel for work's been crazy. Like, I was in New York last week, I came home Saturday night, she was already down in San Diego for a neuroscience conference, aka the biggest nerd convention in the world.
Nerd alert.
She comes back, nerd alert! She comes back on Wednesday, and I'm sure we'll have some TV time to catch up on Making a Murderer.
So for the record,
wait. So yeah. What do you think about this? Okay, because this is something that I mean, to me, it's a pretty big, pretty damning sin. So I get back, I'm like, you know what? I saw Designated Survivor pop up in the trending, so I click it. I'm like, I'm gonna watch it, and Sunday when I went to continue watching, you have the continue watching. What do I see in the list of continue watching? But Making a Murderer. I call Aaron immediately. I said, whoa, what is this? Like, what is going on here? I only watched 2 minutes and I fell asleep. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right.
You right? Uh-huh. I mean, like that.
Whoa.
That's like ultimate foul, right?
That's terrible. That is terrible. You hate to see it. Call her out.
Hate to see it. Yeah. You're put on watch, wife.
That's unbelievable. I had the flip side of that kind of. Tori and I started watching Making a Murderer together. We barely got through one episode, and by we I mean her. She started falling asleep. She's, this happens every time. If she's not into it, she's just done. She's not giving it a chance. I'm still kind of dying to watch what happens, so I think I'm going to start watching it alone. She told me to do that, but it's just tough. It's always tough.
Yeah, that's a tough one. There's definitely shows that I've watched by myself. I know I've referenced Shameless before. Californication is, one of my all-time favorites. I just plowed through that by myself because, like I've mentioned about Erin before, this is a recurring theme. Anytime she sees that big season count, she gets a little put off,
I
and she's
love
a competitive person, so it's kind of shocking to me, but, she just gets it's like an unattainable feat. But you know me, I'm ready to dive in
all day. Speaking of dive in, can we give a shout out to Chris Liebner and the Buffalo Bills?
Good old Buffalo Bills, man. Dumpster fire.
The dumpster fire of the year now. It's incredible. What a performance.
How is Nathan Peterman literally an NFL quarterback?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about him. Okay, I don't know where he went to school. I don't know when he was drafted. I don't know what season he's in the NFL. The only thing I know is there have been 3 games where I've known that he's played, like that he's actually played in the game. And the first game was last year when he had 5 interceptions in one half of football. The second game was this year when they were beating the Texans, and he came in because I think Jared Allen got hurt. I don't remember exactly what happened, but he threw a pick 6 and an intercept, like literally a pick 6 and then an interception the next time he threw the football. And then here he is against the Chicago Bears, and I think he definitely threw a pick 6. Might have had a fumble return.
I think he threw
for a touchdown.
2. He gave up 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it is shocking. Like, I would love to be that bad at something and be paid that much money. Because, I mean, he's got to be making at least a couple $100,000 a year, right?
Totally. No, he's killing it. I love Nathan Peterman. I hope he plays every week. So we're through 9 weeks now. The Bills are up to 96 points scored. So, dumpster fire, baby. Leaves.
Dumpster fire. Leaves.
What's the play here? Do we have Leaves go play quarterback for Buffalo, or do we have him go be the kicker for the Chargers? What's the play?
Well, the thing is, on that front, there are so many kickers this year that have been just god-awful.
Terrible.
You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like he could go to a lot of teams and be the kicker. So I really want to see him be the QB for Buffalo. That's something where, that would be magical. Let's see what the Bills Mafia would do with a totally undrafted college soccer player turned CPA. 3:07 marathoner. I'll drop his marathon time in there. I know what it is.
Nice. My favorite, when I used to be in college, I was the announcer, and Liebner was on the soccer team, and you'd get in, and I would never read any of his like physical achievements. I'd only read his like GPA and stuff.
Brilliant.
The best.
The scholar.
CPA.
You know, Leaves had some skills soccer-wise. I'd never played a game of soccer. I never played a minute of soccer in my life in terms of like a game, right? And, but I'll say from our team perspective, there was a couple guys, and you're you're an athlete at a collegiate level, you're very talented.
Definitely.
But there was a few guys that like got held onto our team because it was just a strictly 4.0 GPA, get the boost. Soccer's different because you probably need, I don't know the exact numbers, but I feel like you need like 25 or 30 guys.
Yeah.
Minimum, because you're doing 11v11 practice, you're doing, people get hurt, all that stuff, but, you gotta respect the GPA boosters.
I mean, that's why Solly was on that team, for the GPA.
Let's go. GPA booster, Solly.
We need to go take a very long shot here at Solly and the New York Jets. Sam Darnold, buddy.
Man.
Uh-oh. Panic time. How many pick six is he going to throw? 4 interceptions this week against the Dolphins. Horribly leads the league in interceptions. All the Jets fans I'm talking to are all blaming Todd Bowles and the coaching staff, and they have a lot of injuries. But I think they're worried about Darnold. They were so cocky with him after that first week where he just tore it up against the Lions. But he's throwing just terrible interceptions week after week. He did this at USC, turned the ball over a lot. Should Jets fans be worried about the golden arm?
Yeah, panic mode. This is one of those, that's why I felt the Giants, I know that we've been talking about Eli a bit the last couple weeks, but that's why I felt the Giants, if they had the opportunity to get Saquon, that they should have, because, I wasn't really that impressed with this QB class. I'm not a major college football watcher. I'll catch, the important games. I'll definitely kind of tune in starting now until the end of the season because, these are the games that matter. But watching these guys play, I never was really overly impressed with any, Baker, obviously he's a talent, but I always felt he was a little too small. Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen. I mean, none of them jumped out off the page or jumped out off the screen like Andrew Luck did, and some others in the past. And Jared Goff, even he jumped off the screen and had a rough year. Now he's obviously rounding into form as a potential MVP candidate. But I even felt that, and I may have said this to you before. I felt the Browns should have gone Saquon number 1 because they had Tyrod Taylor coming in. I know that obviously Baker's playing now, but at that point, you've waited this long, right, from the Browns' perspective to kind of deviate a little to the Browns. You've waited that long. You've had that many screw-ups at the quarterback. Like, why not just shore up every possible position you can and then just wait until it's the guy? Because, they have enough talent now where they're not going to be last place in the NFL. So they're not going to get that number 1 pick. They'll still be in the top 5, I'd imagine. But, to kind of just, them and Browns, Jets, I just feel that there was so much hype about these guys, and I personally didn't see it.
Yeah, this class obviously has not been tearing it up. It's tough because these guys are going on the teams you just listed. They're all horrible. They're all horrible. And so that's already a really tough place to go play, get thrown in right away. So I guess we can give them a little leeway right now, but none of them look like they have the stuff where they'll be like, oh, that's the franchise quarterback. We haven't really seen that many highlights from them. Sam Darnold, I'm not ready to give up on yet because I think he does have a good arm, and the team around him right now is just not good.
Yeah, they're not good. His QBR, though, is 31.4.
That's a problem. And
it's a problem.
He's turned the ball over a ton. So, I'm happy about it. We took Saquon. We got to win there.
Yeah, I think that you guys definitely dodged a bullet there. It could have been ugly because, he's thrown 14. What has he thrown? 14 interceptions to 11 TDs. That's a good stat too, right?
I can't wait till Solly listens back to this. He's going to be throwing things. It's going to be great.
Sorry, King.
Sorry, buddy. How about the Kings of the NFC, dude? The Saints. At home.
These Saints go marching in.
Damn, we were wrong on that one. It was a close game, back and forth, obviously, but the Rams just got picked apart defensively. Horrible. The offense was great still, put up a ton of points against the Saints, but Drew Brees basically did whatever the hell he wanted. Kamara looked great. Are the Saints the team to beat in the NFC?
I guess they have to be at this point. It's one of those that listening to the broadcast last night or watching the game yesterday and listen to Troy Aikman, be the color guy. I always like listening to. I know he was a Cowboy, but I always enjoyed listening to his color commentary because I think he's one of the best that does it. He kept saying that he just didn't understand why the Rams, who had that much talent on defense, were just settling for sitting in zone.
Right.
Because, Drew Brees he's too cagey. He's been around too long, and Troy was saying, if you're going to sit in a zone, he's going to know where the holes are, and he's just going to pick you apart, and that's really what he did the entire game. They're missing Aqib Talib, who's a big physical wide receiver. That definitely hurt their chances yesterday, and I think as he comes back, that he is a big time difference maker. But yeah, I guess you gotta have the Saints as the number 1 team in the NFC at this point.
If they have home field.
If they have home field, and they may now. They're on a roll, man. They're 7-1. They've won 7 straight. They've beaten the Rams head to head, and at this point, I don't. Unless they go on a crazy losing streak, I don't see the Eagles getting ahead of them. Maybe the Bears, but I don't know if the Bears are good enough to keep up with those with that high powered offense. I don't know though, but the one team that could throw a wrench into this whole equation is those Carolina Panthers. They keep on rolling, and they, from what I think I heard it yesterday on during the broadcast that 2 of the last 3 games of the season are Saints-Panthers at each respective's home. So, as good as the Saints are looking now, Cam Newton he's playing lights out right now. He's having a career year, in my opinion, and he could have something to say about it. I know that you've been on the Panthers bandwagon too, Saints and Panthers. I mean, what do you think about that matchup down the road?
I think it'll be an amazing matchup. Carolina is a team, I've said all along, they're really, really tough at home. Cam is really tough at home. They're 5-0 this year at home already. And Christian McCaffrey finally starting to wake up, score a couple touchdowns for my fantasy team. Things are looking up. I think
he's been a one-man wrecking crew.
He's been killing
Christian McCaffrey.
He's been killing it. The one team I think we shouldn't forget about in that division who's sneaking up on a lot of teams, the Atlanta Falcons. They've now won 3 in a row. Matt Ryan is starting to put up numbers like he did that MVP year. And look at the Falcons' schedule. I pulled this up. They've got a lot of winnable games the rest of the way. Next week at Cleveland, then they're home against Dallas, at New Orleans on a Thursday. It's a tough one. Then they got the Ravens, Packers, Cardinals, Panthers, and Bucks. There's a lot of winnable games in there for the 4-4 Falcons. 3 teams could definitely make the playoffs from that division.
Yeah, it could be that year where you see both wild card teams out of one division. What do you think about the Packers? I mean, that Atlanta at Green Bay on December 9th, that could be a big deciding game for those final wild card spots. I mean, do you think that the Packers kind of switched to sell mode? I mean, I know the trade deadline's gone and done now, but I mean, with the moves that they made at the trade deadline, do you think that they think they have the team to do this, or do you think that they're kind of punting the ball downfield, punting it downfield for next year?
Yeah, I don't think they have it, which anytime you've got Rodgers, you'd think, let's go for it. We definitely have a shot. They are another team that's been very good at home, always Lambeau, but they're 0-4 on the road. And, they didn't look great against the Patriots last night. Rodgers is great, but he can only do so much. They don't look like a team that's making the playoffs this year, if I'm honest. I think they're going to miss out.
I agree with you, which is scary because
crazy
of the things that Aaron Rodgers can do. But it's one of those where you always wonder, what the front office is doing. Like, do they just assume that their job is done because he's on their team? You know what I mean? Like, you never see them. I know that they made a couple trades at the trade deadline, but you never see them really going like uber aggressive to get guys. I mean, I know they got Jimmy Graham a couple years ago, but like look at their running backs. Like, why would they not try to like make contact with, and maybe they did, I don't know, but like one would think somehow get in contact with Pittsburgh to try to bring Le'Veon Bell in to sign so that they could potentially deal him to the Packers. Like at this point, all these other teams are so loaded. Jared Goff, he's a great quarterback. He's got Todd Gurley.
Yep.
Drew Brees, great quarterback. He's got Alvin Kamara. Patrick Mahomes, great quarterback. He's got Kareem Hunt. I mean, like, all these top-level teams who have great quarterbacks. I'm not saying that they're to the level of Aaron Rodgers, but they have this dynamic 1-2 punch in the backfield, which the Packers have never had that. Will have not had that in the longest time.
No, forever.
Definitely not in Aaron Rodgers' years. I know that they used to have it with Brett Favre for sure, but
they got excited about Eddie Lacy for 1 year, and then Eddie Lacy ate the whole team.
Then he our team, and he had to have weight checks to make, and he was getting bonuses off of his weight checks.
No, it's a great point though. Rodgers has not had a good running back to help him out and carry that load a little bit, which would also help the defense, I think, but they could have more possession, and it's a great point. Yeah,
I mean, it's the ball's in his hands, and he'll complete balls all over the field, but you get a quick 3 and out, or quick 4 or 5 play drive, and you're done. I mean, that defense is, no matter how good you are, defenders are going to run out of gas in the tank.
One more thing, can you just please give a quick shout out to the TD Monster?
Oh man, dude, their TD monster. This guy's incredible, man. It's like
he's so good.
How does he keep doing this?
I don't know. It's unbelievable every week.
Because here's the thing, right? I mean, granted, they're not playing a great team. However, like they know that it's coming. Like defenses at this point have to scheme for this. Like 375, 3 touchdowns. He did have an interception, but the dude had 9 incompletions the entire day.
Nuts.
You know what I mean? Like, and he'll get out and run. I mean, he normally he has run in the past for more, but he's two runs for 18 yards. I mean, it just keeping those linebackers honest so that the field is more open down. So it's more open downfield. He's a few years away from being that electrifying player that is must. I mean, he is must see TV right now, but he's one of those where when the Chiefs every other week are on primetime television, we're going to know why.
We are going to know why. And the Chiefs, by the way, this week are at home against the Arizona Cardinals. They're favored by 16.5, I see.
Oh, my God.
TD Monster.
TD Monster. The TD Monster.
What's one pick this week that you really like?
So this is a little goofy, because I know I've said this before. I don't necessarily like the divisional games and picking my team in the divisional games, but
it's a big one.
I like the Birds at home coming off a bye.
This is a big one.
I know, this is a big one.
Dallas short week.
Dak just has not been playing well, man. Like, I know that he's a talented player, can get it done with his legs, but he's just not been playing well. Adding Golden Tate to the roster, I mean, like, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but this is a week where we have Dallas at home. The Skins just come off a
horrible loss
to the Falcons at home, and
the second time the Redskins have done that to me this season. By the way,
yeah.
I've been against them the whole way. I jumped on them again. I was like, all right, I'll give them another shot, and they just crapped the bed again. Horrible.
Yeah, and I mean, I did it on purpose. Again, I know I texted you like finally jinxed them.
Yep, it worked.
But here's the thing, dude. They go to Tampa and they play your boy Fitzmagic. And this is a game where I could just, standard Redskins, I'm going to be like, oh, they're done, and then they're going to go down to smoke Tampa Bay. But part of me feels like the Eagles will have Dallas at home, and the game will kick off, and they'll already have an opportunity to jump back in first place, or at least to tie with first place, because the Redskins will have gotten beat by your boy Fitzy.
I just noticed that the Buffalo Bills are playing the Jets of all teams this week.
Oh my God. Should we send Liebner and Sally to the game? Where is the game? It's in New York.
It's in New York.
I would. Yeah. Hey, guess what? I'm looking. There are tickets for $36. I think we should get them there.
I would do that. I'll pay for the tickets.
I think we can get a GoFundMe page from all of our listeners. Like,
that's a great idea.
Sally, Liebner, they need to be at this game together. Just the dumpster fire Buffalo Bills versus just the totally pathetic, sad New York Jets, and
it's the loser bowl.
The loser bowl. They need to drown their sorrows together.
They do. We need to also come up with a bet for whoever loses. Somebody has to do something.
100%.
People out there, come up with a bet. Tweet me at TerrificTalkTom. Do it. Any other games you like this week?
Ooh, Falcons minus 3.5 at the Browns. To your point, those guys are coming around. I know Cleveland always seems to be in games, but the Falcons at this point, if they want to continue on the path to the playoffs, like this is a game they need to dominate. I actually would take a little play at that.
I'm with you on that.
Eagles are -6, but like I said, this is a game at home where coming off a bye. At least with Andy Reid, we were always amazing off of a bye. Doug Peterson is a protege of his, and I would hope that he could kind of keep that momentum. So I actually wouldn't be surprised for the Birds to win that game by a touchdown. Man, this Redskins-Buccaneers game is a pick 'em at this point. That's really intriguing.
Stay away.
Oh, I know, got to stay away. The other one too that I'm looking at, which this team's starting to find a little footing, and that would be the Indianapolis Colts. Your Jags, who are another team that's in a total free fall. Colts are at home -3. They've been playing some great football. Marlon Mack has come back from injury and just been carrying the load and carrying my fantasy team. Thanks, Marlon. I could see them. I could see the Colts putting it to the Jags there.
All right.
What's the status of the D-backs for the Jaguars?
I don't know.
Because I know Bouye was hurt. Jalen's been playing, but I mean, Andrew Luck can spread the ball around. Eric Ebron's playing well. It's one of those things. It's funny that I know this much about the Colts just because I've been following the game track for Marlon Mack touchdowns. But
that's the key.
T.Y. Hilton is always dangerous, just getting vertical. Eric Ebron, I know that I had him on fantasy last year when he was with Detroit, and he was disastrous. But he seems to have found a groove now down there in Indy. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts kind of eke that one out.
All right, yeah, Luck versus Bortles. It's not a bad choice.
Not a bad matchup, right?
Real quick before we go, quick NBA thoughts. We touched on the Sixers a little bit earlier. What else are you thinking that you've seen so far in the NBA?
I'm happy. I was nervous through the first week or two of the season with the Detroit Pistons because I know that me and Will just both torched them, but they've just been stumbling. They're now back to 500, and I'm happy with the trajectory with which they're going. We ragged on the Thunder too, man. The Thunder are kind of finding their stride. They're back to 500. Again, out of the West, they're not going to be doing. They're not doing anything. The Warriors are just rolling right now. I mean, the Warriors at this point. They could beat that 73. What were they? 73-9.
Yep.
Yeah, they could beat that this year. But Thunder seem to be finding their footing. Giannis is just still carrying these Bucks, man.
MVP.
But you weren't wrong there, man. That was a really good call. And Raptors, I to continue what we chatted about last week. I think the Raptors though are the team to beat. They're just going in and pummeling teams.
Absolutely pummeling teams. They destroyed LeBron yesterday without Kawhi.
Yep.
What's going on with the Lakers? I think people should be nervous about the Lakers a little bit.
Did you see that stat the other night where LeBron had his lowest plus-minus game ever in his career while getting a win? I think he was like -22 on the adjusted plus-minus. During that, I kind of flipped to those advanced stats in the game cast and the box score during the game yesterday, and it was the same thing, man. He's like, adjusted plus minus was like in the 20s, and it's like this is the one thing that LeBron always gets praised for, that he always makes the right plays, makes the right decisions, protects his teammates, with the decisions that he makes. I mean, is it just that these guys are too young and their like basketball IQ isn't at his level? You know what I mean?
I mean, part of it is that they're too young and they're really they don't play any defense at all. They have a tough time rebounding. JaVale McGee's been actually really good so far, but he's literally like their only interior guy. And that's been hurting. And I said this before the season started. I said, LeBron, he's going out to LA. He's got a lot going on right now. It doesn't really seem like he's all that focused on basketball. He's still LeBron, so I'm sure he's the hardest working guy ever. But it just seems like he's kind of not completely engaged. Like, he's putting up really good points, but I don't feel like his imprint is on any of these games so far. And I don't know. I don't know if he's just buying into this team and he's just kind of waiting till they go get the superstar next year or later at the trade deadline. It just seems like he's not completely engaged with this team so far.
I mean, are 4-6, right? So LeBron could kind of turn the heat on and
they'll be fine. They'll win
6 straight.
Yeah,
but
they'll be a playoff team, but it just, I don't know. And you hear all the stories where Magic's yelling at Luke Walton, you guys better start playing better. It's just, it's going to be a crazy, it's the Lake Show. It's going to be crazy all year long. But I want to see a little bit more out of LeBron, unless he's just coasting, waiting for the playoffs, and then, switch the gear and dominate again. We'll see.
How about the fact that the Rockets have, now that they've won 2 straight since we torched them last week when they were 1-5, they're still in the power ranking. I was looking at this earlier. They're in the NBA power rankings. They're still ranked 12th in the league, and they are from a record standpoint, 15th or 13th worst team in the Western Conference. So not even factoring in the Eastern Conference. How is that possible? I mean, I guess that's just on pure reputation or just assuming that they're going to be all right. But
pretty much, I think they're 0-4
at home.
Yeah, they are 0-4 at home. It was a disaster start, and they lost Chris Paul to the suspension. Harden got hurt. Those guys hadn't played together at all this season. But let's not get carried away. Their last 2 wins were not good. They beat by Nets, which is not a great win for them, and then they beat somebody else stupid this week. So yeah, we'll still see. They're 3-5, but I wouldn't think they're completely out of the woods yet.
Speaking of your Nets, playoff spot right now.
Can you believe that?
Season be ending tomorrow.
I'm so excited. We're going for it.
God, what was their over-under, 31, and me and Will just absolutely hosed them. They're 1/8 of the way there already.
So disrespectful to the Nets.
We were.
Are you impressed with Karis LeVert? Is he the next Kobe?
God, you love Karis. Have you gotten your jersey yet or what?
It's still in the mail. I'm still waiting.
Still waiting. I'll say, man, I got to the point where I was just like, what? I'd rather watch Designated Survivor than this just absolute shit show. Again, the couple games, obviously, I watched several games of the Sixers. I'm bought in with the NBA individual team package with Aaron's college friend and teammate Kelsey Brasher. I know you know Brasher.
Shout out.
But the games that I've watched, we've won some, we've lost some, and it just seems that the effort level is so lax, man. And I know I've said it before, but I'm just how is this a team that's average age of 24? How is this possible?
You're panicking, and I love it.
Oh God, it's just more a frustration, because I know what the team's capable of. They went on pardon my French, they went on a 16-game regular season winning streak to end it out last year. They can get hot, they can get rolling, but
other weird thing about this, them being a young team, 6-0 at home, 0-5 on the road.
5 on the road, dude. How about that?
That's weird. That's a weird stat for what's supposed to be one of the better teams.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I mean, they've got the one other thing that I've heard. I feel like they're playing on ESPN recently, and Doris Burke was commentating, and she was kind of like, "Why do you?" I mean, I know that you have to bring Markelle Fultz along. He's your number 1 pick. You got to give him a shot. But JJ Redick, as a starter last year, they were the best combination. They were the best combined team, that those starting 5 in the NBA in terms of output. They outperformed the opponent's starting 5 by, forget if it was plus 20 points or something crazy where you're just okay. And
spacing. I told you this on the Over Under podcast.
You did tell me.
I said they need the spacing. They need JJ and Covington out on the 3, and then you let Embiid and Simmons do their thing down low. That's just the way. It's the way to do it. Have Fultz come off the bench, and then Brett Brown got cocky, and now you guys can't win on the road against the Brooklyn Nets. Jason Tatum. Brooklyn, baby. We go hard. I love it. All right, dude. Let's wrap it up there. I'm feeling good. This is a much better way to end this podcast than last week.
I know we were just toasting last week on your boy. Who do you got tonight? We got an interesting matchup, Cowboys, Titans. We're recording on a Monday night, everyone. It's normally a little bit later in the week, but
yeah. We got midterms this week. We got to get shit done. Today, I am going. This is the ugliest game ever. I am going with the Dallas Cowboys at home. They always win on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, they do. You're probably right on that. I mean, I just think you can't. Jerry's World, you can't go against that team in Jerry's world. I would love to see Marcus Mariota, pull one out of his hat, a la U of O days. But yeah, I think the Cowboys, they got Amari Cooper. I think they get vertical on the field. I think they get vertical deep, and then Cole Beasley's just going to rip them apart underneath.
Yep.
Once they have to protect against Amari.
Basically, watching it at home, it's probably going to be the exact opposite of Saints-Rams. It's not going to be a ton of points in this one.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Everybody, thank you for listening to Terrific Talk. Go subscribe on iTunes. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Terrific Talk. Tom is the handle. And we will see you next week on the other side. Thank you again, Steve.
No doubt.
Kobe.
TTP.